Did I do anything with music last time? No.
No, we didn't
You
do any music. I think we were just kind of being funny.
I'm getting ready to go. Here we go. And hello.
Oh, hi.
Wow.
Hi. Don't we have a theme song? I'm doing my best.
Doing my best.
Doing my best.
Doing my best. Does that work?
Yeah, that's it. That's the intro.
There we go. Done.
Finished.
How are you?
Oh, I'm really good. I just got a massage. I'm getting some massage therapy from our friend Kim.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of massage where they have smelling salts or not smelling salts. That's for when you faint.
Yeah.
You know,
Oils,
they're like, yeah, and
relaxing,
and
playing some music.
Yeah, you're there for pure luxury. She gets to work because I have those migraines that are complicated with some past injuries I've had.
Yeah.
So she gets down to the nitty gritty, and it's painful. We chat a lot, and I was telling her, I was like, I feel like if I'm not mentally paying attention to the way you're rubbing me down, that like I'm not getting the full experience of it. And she said that she likes to talk a lot because, and so if you're in pain or if it hurts our muscles, or if we anticipate pain, our muscles lock up, and it's harder for her to massage. So that's one of the reasons why she's so chatty. I go, well, first of all, I thought we were like bonding. I didn't know that this was like a tool. Okay, first of all, I thought we were getting close. Okay, with this chit chat.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a tool to get my muscles loose.
Yeah.
Hurt feelings, number one.
You're getting real deep and they're ready to cry. And then you're like, oh, actually, you didn't care. You were just trying to.
You just didn't want my muscles to lock up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, that felt like a betrayal. But other than that, it was good. I had to do, and it's kind of funny too, because I'm like, getting deep. I'm like, well, one of the things that happened to me in my childhood, because she kept like running into these disaster knots. But anyway, so I'm feeling fresh, light, feeling really good. I could probably take a nap. But today we're going to talk about, how do you know what your calling is? Even if you even have a calling, and maybe we don't even have callings.
I think we do. I think we're meant
you
for
think so?
Yeah, because I think that
meant for a purpose.
Yeah, I think we are.
Well, I told Kim, because our friend Kim is one of the most loving, kind people that I've ever met. And I go, this is really your calling. She goes, well, that's really funny, because I was thinking about a career change.
She's so good. She is. There's something about her that draws you to her, and then and then also I think that when you find someone who's helping you, even if it's a duct, like in some scenarios, it's not appropriate to be like, are we going to be friends after this?
No, like if you've read my books, like I bond with everybody. I bond with my team, like with my doctor. I remember I bonded with my nurse practitioner, and I bonded with her the most because she had a really great personality. She was really funny, but then she was the one who was with me for my 3 miscarriages, and she just handled it so beautifully, where it was compassion and sensitivity, but it wasn't, she didn't feel sorry for me. It was, I'm very hopeful because you're able to conceive, and this is very normal. Miscarriages happen in 20% or sometimes more.
Yeah.
And that she goes, it's your body. Something is not working quite right. And this is a gift that your body is giving you in order to make, it's a gift because things aren't coming together, you know?
Yeah.
And it gave me such peace that,
I think anybody though I even think about my best friend, Stephanie, like we met through church and life group, but as a physical therapist, she was helping me with I just swell up with water, and she was helping. And so that, I think that for me, which I loved her anyway, she's hilarious, kind, loving. But then, like, as she cared for, I was like, well, we're in this for the long haul, whether you like it or not, because now I'm in love with you.
Yeah, we're in love.
Yeah.
Well, Kim kind of shared something with me, too, because I asked her, because she was getting so deep under my muscle, and, like, her fingers were even, like, flicking underneath muscle sometimes. And I said, what do you do when you have, she was telling me that one marker she has of not getting too big is that she found out that if you are over 400 pounds and you get cremated, you start a grease fire. and that several
Stop.
obese people have burnt down crematoriums. Yeah.
I can't process this right now.
Yeah.
You start a grease fire.
You start a grease fire
with all that fat.
and it just explodes. So she said that that's a good rule of thumb to never get up to 400 pounds. She's not even close, but it's like, that's her rule of thumb. Like, I ain't going to be blowing up a crematorium. Okay.
Oh my,
Right.
I would never have thought. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Well, so then I said, if you have a larger patient that you're working on, I go, is it harder for you to give them care to get to the muscles?
Sure.
Because I was just curious about that. And she goes, I actually find that my bigger customers are actually my best work, which I love the way she worded that. And she said it's because they're more insecure. They, if they're larger, they don't feel worthy to be touched, or they feel gross, or they feel insecure about being touched. And so when she's able to connect with them in that way,
it's so healing
it's
on different
healing
levels.
on different levels for them. And that's a real blessing for her to be a part of that. So then, of course I was like loving her for that. And then she was like, Anna, she's going to listen to this podcast. Like, these are private conversations.
This was not meant to leave. You're not saying names.
I'm not saying names.
And we're friends. So
yeah, we gotta deal with it.
Sorry. If you know us, you might end up on here whether you like it or not. Okay.
Right. Exactly. And the thing about Kim is that, okay, I want to be very careful to not be too woo-woo. But I feel like I am very sensitive to energy. I think it makes me it helps me be a good writer. I have a lot of insight into people. I wouldn't say I'm an empath. I think somebody said this in a tweet and I was like, thank you. She was like, empaths are like the worst people, because I think when people say some people may truly be an actual empath, but in my experience, every single person who said I'm an empath is actually someone who has a lot of issues, and they just project their issues onto you. So they're like, she feels this way because I'm insecure and weird, and or feeling weird, and so that you feel the same way as me. And I'm like, I don't got that issue. What are you talking about? So anyway, I'm really sensitive. I've always been really sensitive to energy, and and again, it sounds so woo-woo. I'm really not a woo-woo person. But what I mean is that I'm sensitive to people. I'm sensitive to the energy that they give off. Extreme emotion affects me physically. It affects all of us, but I'm really more so in tuned. And Amber and I, and this is a story that we'll share some other time. Amber, when my first book came out, it'll actually be in book 3, I hope. Amber throws this huge party for me, like a comedy hour of sorts. It's like a surprise for her friends. The night was a total crap show. We'll get into that. We'll get into those details. It was hilariously a crap show. Well, anyway, Amber and I lose the audience. It was after COVID, or it was like COVID was waning. These women hadn't been out of their homes for 2 years.
And they were ready to party.
Some were showing up drunk, okay? Something we did not anticipate. And so it was really hard for me to keep for us to keep the crowd.
Yeah.
And they, Kim, I had never met Kim before. Kim was in the back of the room, and I briefly made eye contact with her. But the minute I did, I felt to myself like, I got to charge through this. Like, these women are out of control, but I've got to take control, and I've got to do what I came here to do.
I'm like, there's a mess going on beside us, and I'm just like, keep going.
I heard someone retching. Someone was retching in the bathroom, and I was like, is someone like, what's puking? Going on? And Amber leans over and she goes, keep going. I'm doing a reading. I'm doing a reading.
Oh my God. I just realized we have video of that. We need to go through that and pull some bits.
When I do a reading, it's usually to a quiet audience who was listening to me, laughing, engaging with me. I felt like I was at a comedy club and I had the rowdiest, drunkiest people on the planet.
It was so good.
And so I briefly locked eyes with Kim. Well, so Kim and I meet, and now I'm getting my massage with her. And I share with her kind of like that moment comes up, and she goes, I don't know. She goes, something that I like to do, and I did it with you, is I was looking at you and I was saying to you, just keep going, ignore them, just keep going. You can do this. Just ignore the craziness. You can do this. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Kim, because afterwards I went up to her.
Well, you went right up to her.
Do you remember that?
And she actually made a comment. She was like, Anna feels safe, or I don't want to say safe, like anybody was unsafe, but it was just like she just got a good feel about you as a person. Yeah.
And so I did. I went right up to her and I said, I don't know who you are or who you are to Amber, but you helped me get through this somehow. I go, there's just something about you. And she didn't tell me at the time that she was encouraging me.
Well, how could you? You're like, actually...
She's like, I want to take credit for tonight. Yeah. I was willing you on through my energy. Yeah. So anyway, she's just one of those people where that's something that she does is she goes, if I see that something's kind of out of hand, or maybe I see someone struggling or getting emotional, I just kind of lock in on them. Yeah. And I just speak encouragement to them. And, first I can tell you right now, it works. So this is the kind of person Kim is. And she just worked. Here's the deal too. She's working me down, and I'm starting to really feel relaxed. It's feeling really good. And then she was done, and she just like walked out and shut the door. I go, excuse me. I go, first of all, she's just right on the other side of the door. I was like, you got to give me a warning. What is this? Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I mean, you got to like warn me first.
It's like you're sad that she's left. You're like, wait, I thought.
I just started to get on the cusp of opening this Pandora's box of my emotional, physical, spiritual healing. Okay.
I gotta tell you, I love her, and I love Melissa, her wife. And I met Melissa. We lost our hairstylist at like a cost cutters that I would take the boys to. And I saw she had cut some little boy's hair and it looked real cute. And I was like, ooh, we need to go see her. And so then I got her information in case she ever left, then I could get a hold of her and follow her. And then, I don't know what, but we just became friends. I mean, I'll try to be friends with anybody. And then we were doing bunko, and then she would bring Kim, and Kim was like very much like, boundaries. Just because we're together doesn't mean we have to be friends with all the same people. Right. And I worked her down. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, we've got to know each other very closely. We have to all be friends forever. And we would FaceTime often, especially like during COVID. I remember there would be times I would like all of a sudden like we're like laughing, and then by the end of the conversation I'm like crying. I'm like, wait, what? What's happening?
That's what she does too. She just opens you right up. Yeah. So she's fantastic. I just got done seeing her, and we actually just got back from that speaking engagement in Dyersville. Mm-hmm. Dyersville, we didn't know, is the home of the
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, and our hotel was right by the Field of Dreams. We wanted to go there. We ran out of time. We had this huge. That turnout was unreal. Mm-hmm. Unreal. It was like over 300 women. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I brought the house down.
Yeah, it was
Did funny. I bring that? Yeah, it was good. It was good. I did good readings. I will say, I talked about I read the fart story because that was a class. That's really why they brought me there, I think. And then I read the Me Falling, which is out of book 2. I'm not ready for this. And then I read Vaginal Dryness of Not Being Ready to Age, which was the Catherine O'Hara chapter where I talk about my sister rebuking vaginal dryness in the name of Jesus in her prayer closet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then I read Sheets for Curtains, which is out of the first book. And Sheets for Curtains is a pretty powerful chapter. And I just felt like this was a woman's night, and we were celebrating strong women. And that chapter was about my mom and how, as a child, if I looked to her to know if I should be scared or not. Should I be worried? Because our family went through some traumatic times. And I would look to her, and she kept very steady and it made me feel steady. I mean, a lot of the trauma of what we went through, I was shielded from just from the very fact that my mom dealt with it with dignity and strength, and didn't have wild mood swings, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I shared that chapter. And what's really sweet about that chapter is that at my book launch, my mom was there, and this woman who was working the event, my mom was there early, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we haven't started yet. We don't start for another 20 minutes or so." And she goes, I'm the author's mom. And the woman just practically burst into tears, and she said, "Oh, Sheets for Curtains has made such an impact on my life."
Oh.
So, Christine's out there, famous in her own right.
Yes, she is.
So I would have to say, though, that we realized that the falling story didn't get as many laughs. It's so weird when we go to different events what people will just die over and which ones they don't. And so at that avenue, my dad, all of my dad's falls, my dad falling on the pogo stick, me falling, cracking my ankle.
Well, maybe they felt sad. Maybe they're like, we can't. And I'll say this because I will watch Thursday night is wing night, which we've already decided we shouldn't call it wing night because
they're not wings. They're chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets dipped in stuff.
Sauce, barbecue sauce.
To be quite honest, I'm tired of it. I don't want to eat wings anymore.
Your husband loves it.
My husband and my kids love it. They're like, Thursday night, BOGO wings at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
And then we will sit as a family in our TV room, and we'll watch America's Funniest Home Videos. And we started way back in the beginning when it was real good.
Yeah.
And I will die at people falling.
Scream.
And I will have Beckett, my 7-year-old, turn and glare at me and tell me that wasn't funny. So while we're teaching our kids to be kind and empathetic,
it's a temperament thing, maybe. It's people's temperament.
I don't know. Winnie gets on board too. Yeah. And I'm like annoyed. I'm like, that's funny.
We're watching Funniest Home Videos, you guys.
Telling me that's not funny. So maybe they just, falling, maybe people just feel sad now.
I'm not laughing if someone falls off a cliff, okay, and they're dead.
Well, of course not.
I'm laughing at a hilarious
No,
dip.
I think it's funny.
God,
I'm laughing. But
and guess what? I don't like being judged either. So guess what, Beckett and Winnie? I don't need your judgment while I laugh at stuff. I don't need you judging me while I'm like, it's funny. You know what I've also noticed too that I just wanted to share with you? So I have been, since my 40s, it's been really important to me to exercise and to take care of my body to the fullest. I'm an older mother.
Me too.
You're trying. Hey, you're getting there. You're getting there. You're not 40 yet. So I really wanted to transform my life and my body and just be as healthy as possible, as slow as possible. Before I would just do dramatic stuff to get the weight off and then gradually would go back on. So I'm on the slow route, doing a lot of weightlifting, a lot of strength training, and my body is transforming. I'm not quite at the goal weight that I want to be at yet, but I am in no rush to get there. But I do find that when I wrote those books, I was heavier and my jokes landed better. And this is really interesting, but there's a lot of jokes about like my arms. So like my arms are actually pretty buff now.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you're not ready for sleeves? There ain't no fluff.
I wanted to name my first book, I'm Not Ready to Go Sleeveless. And I remember my agent laughed and laughed and laughed. My agent was just, because I presented it to like the whole marketing team and my editor, and I could hear my agent just like guffaw laughing. And then the editor didn't get it. Now she's thin. She didn't really quite understand what I was talking about. And she looks like one of those women who's always been thin.
Sure.
So I was like, I kind of want to name it. I want this book to be called I'm Not Ready to Go Sleeveless. And my editor was like, I don't know. I'm so sorry, but I don't know if I get it. And I'm like, any woman who's got fluff arms knows that when spring hits, we ain't ready to go sleeveless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're pasty white. They look like dough that just rose out of the oven.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had all of this time to prepare for summer. And it's like we just can't. We're like, so I'm not going to be wearing this cardigan anymore. Like, I need to wear a tank top. It's hot out here.
I'm going to just roll those sleeves up, okay? I'm going to keep that cardigan, and I'm going to roll the sleeves up.
Well, I have found, though, that since I've kind of lost a lot of that, I've lost some weight and I've done that like those jokes are not landing at all. In fact, it's like people are almost offended. So it's amazing how things sort of change in such a short amount of time, and that I need to have a certain awareness of what jokes are going to go over and what aren't. But I mean, that's really the craft of writing, and especially humor writing and stuff like that is testing out what works with people. I think it would be offensive for like someone who doesn't have that issue to be making fun of it like they have that issue. You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I've had that issue though, and it's still in my books. So
well, they didn't know you then, right? And so
yeah.
I don't know who this girl is coming up here trying to act like she's one of us. She ain't. Not even close.
So I got to do some tweaking to the presentation.
Yeah, it was really, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was fun. Lots of laughs.
So what we wanted to talk about today, and we were just kind of going back and forth about what we wanted to share, is how do you know what your calling is? And something that I've shared with my audience and even through my books, and is that I felt like I had a calling when I was a little girl to become a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I loved writing, but the very first time I was in elementary school, my teacher was Mrs. Abo, and she was really beautiful, and we terrorized her. And I still look back at it. Like one time she went into the closet because her film, she didn't want to expose her film, and then we got this girl to lock the door. We locked her in the closet.
Oh my gosh.
And I was pitting out so bad. Like at first I laughed, and then I was just horrified. I don't have the temperament to be naughty like that. I mean, I was just like, oh my God, we got to let her out, guys. We got to let her out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel so bad for her. You're being humiliated. These children have locked you into a closet. She probably feared for her life. She's like, they're going to leave, and I'm going to die in here.
Oh, no. You know what? She was mad.
Rage.
I mean, I can't imagine.
She sat in her chair and turned her back to us for 30 minutes. And
that's all the consequence you guys got?
We sat there.
Well, I guess if it's a whole class, how do you discipline a whole class?
And we were remorseful. I mean, we were like, this was bad, because she'd never done anything like that before, you know. Anyway, our first assignment was to write a short story. And I remember it being the very first time I ever just lit up. I was like, yes. And then I wrote this story for her, and I took it so seriously. I was like, this needs to be a piece. I took it very seriously. I handed it in, and I remember she pulled me up to her desk a few days later, and she had it, and she looked at me and she said, Anna, this is very, very good. And that was it. She submitted it to a competition. I won it. I think I won like a chance to go see R.L. Stine, but then it didn't work with my mom's schedule. I could never go. One of those childhood heartaches.
Yeah.
And, but I remember going in, I kicked down the door to my mom. My mom was in the kitchen. I go home, kick down the door. She's in the kitchen. She's at the sink. And I go, well, I'm going to be a published writer one day. Mm-hmm. And I remember my mom was at the sink. She turned the faucet off, and she turns to me and she goes, "You are, babe?" And I go, and right when she said that, I had this insecurity. Like, I bet everybody feels that way. I bet everybody thinks they're going to be famous. Everybody thinks they're going to be rich. Everybody, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all think we're going to be to the tippy top. And I go, well, I bet everybody feels like that, huh? And she goes, oh, no, honey. I think hardly anybody feels that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people that's like, I'm going to be a writer.
I'm going to be a published writer.
Yeah.
So Beverly Cleary better freaking move over.
Yeah, watch out.
And so from then on, I really felt like that was my calling. That's what I needed. That was what I was going to do when I grew older. So I went to, as time went on, I was in the school paper. I was manager of the school paper. I still kept writing as like a high priority. But when I got to college, I got scared to become an English major because I thought, I don't want to be a teacher. And that's usually what ends up happening.
Yeah.
So I went into advertising. Then I got into like the lifestyle of advertising. I was like, I'm going to be in New York. I'm going to have these power pumps. And I got into advertising, and then I had a crisis because I hated it. I was at the Journal Star. I was like, what have I done? I am so unhappy. And I don't know. I had forgotten that I always wanted to be a writer. And when you're in that position in your early 20s, where do you even start if you want to be a writer? It was too far gone. So I went to decided to become a resident director at CSU Chico. And, I had to apply to multiple schools across the country, but I was selected at CSU Chico. And I flew out there to California. I started to work on my master's degree, and I was defending my thesis. I was going to become a psychologist, get my PhD in psychology and become a counselor. And I defended my thesis, and when I got done, the director said, I don't know why you went through all this trouble. You're supposed to be a comedian. And he was being funny, but I was like, wow. I just had my blood, sweat, and tears on this stage. I bled up there, okay, for this thesis. And you think that I just need to go to Joe's Crab Shack, that's my destiny, that's my calling. But I ended up going home, and I thought about it for quite a while. And I was like, I don't feel like my calling is to be a comedian, but I felt like my calling really was to be a writer, and I had abandoned it. And that was when I pivoted. I was applying to get my PhD, and that's when I pivoted to personal blogs were starting to pop off. I was like, I could do this in my sleep. And I asked Rob, I was like, can I quit everything now that you're in school to be a nurse and we have no income to pursue writing? And like a total moron, he said yes. And one of the biggest financial mistakes we've ever made. Okay. Still paying off some of those student loans.
Yeah.
And but anyway, that felt like that was my calling, and I pursued it. It took 10 years. I mean, I've got so much to talk about how long it took me to get there, but I really felt like in my heart of hearts, that's what I was meant to do. I was supposed to serve and through the written word. But then I also had this moment where, and I talk about this, I was years later, and I don't talk about this very often, but years later, I hadn't gotten my agent yet. I had just had Lucy. I had an infant, and I really felt like that dream to become a writer was falling through my fingers. Mm-hmm. I had invested so much in my website, Ha-Has for Hoo-Has. The fart story had blown up, got me a lot of attention, but that attention was starting to die down. I wasn't really growing in my platform. Now I had a baby. I could barely even write. I felt like my whole dream was falling through the cracks. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was making dinner. I was chopping an onion, and I was watching a woman speak on stage, and I was listening to her talk, and I heard as clear as day, as clear as a voice can be, I want you to do that. And it was so powerful, I audibly said no. I said no. And I remember Rob was like, what? Rob was in the other room. I go, no. And then I kind of went inward because talking out loud was going to continue to be weird. But I was like, I'm supposed to be a writer. What do you mean I'm supposed to do this? I don't want to speak. I was never supposed to speak on stage or do anything like that. I don't want to do that. So I bring that up, and we can go into more detail later about what has happened with speaking, because then speaking just accidentally happened to me. Years later, I get published, and then I get asked to speak. And I don't think, I didn't connect the dots until I went up on stage. Yeah. And I felt this kind of inner voice say, I told you so. And I was like, oh my gosh. So sometimes our calling evolves, or the calling is breadcrumbs that leads us to something else. Yeah. But why I'm kind of bringing this up with you too is because it kind of leads us to maybe a little bit more of a funnier story. But have you ever felt, I know recently you have felt like a shift in what you think maybe you're meant for, but leading up to this time. Did you ever feel like you had a calling?
No. My calling was to get out of that trailer park. Okay.
Yeah.
I never really felt like I had a calling. I remember like in high school, I was a fast runner, and I thought, well, maybe, that will be my ticket to college to pay for it. And then I didn't care what it was. I wanted to work in a big building that like was illuminated at night, and I was like some power, like I had like briefcase. I was yelling at people on the phone.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
But that was just what I would envision. And,
So basically you wanted power.
I wanted power is what I wanted. I wanted to tell people what to do.
Yeah.
And so I never really had that. And my uncle, I went and stayed with him in Chicago one summer when I was in middle school, and it just opened my eyes to so much more that then just kind of, motivated me for that. And then, I got pregnant in high school and then I just didn't even think about my calling. It was kind of just like, okay,
Survival.
you just got to do what to survive, how to raise a child, to not follow down this path. So it was almost just like survival and doing the best I can. Right.
Right.
And then this is funny because so we started this podcast, and we had talked about it before, but that was kind of like your thing. I'd never done one before. And I just thought, this is just going to be fun. Well, I went to party over the weekend, and I've been so excited to tell you about this. 15 years ago ish.
Well, do you need to preface what this party is? Because I do know that you were going, your friend Whitney, who I'm casually friends with as well, throws this annual prom
they
party.
love themed parties, and I love all of them. They are fun. We do Cinco de Mayo guac off. She has 4th of July parties. She has murder mystery I mean, it's just a fun reason to get together.
I love all of those parties, but I don't love it if I have to put effort into it because I'm very lazy. I'm a lazy lover. Okay.
Aren't we all?
I'm a lazy lover. I'm lazy. And so if you're like, okay, so here's the party. It's
the party. So
you got to dress up in this particular theme. I'm like, now you've lost me.
Okay.
Now I've got to go buy an outfit somewhere.
Here's the thing. Because I have now put on a lot of extra weight, it's not as easy for me to go to the store and find something quickly. It was a prom party. I think if I had the body I feel like I have in my mind, I wouldn't even care. But it's just, and plus I like to be comfortable. I like to put on sweatpants. I don't want to wear a bra. I want to just hang out and not do nothing. Easy. But it was a prom party. They do it every year. Last year I said I was going to go, and then I didn't. And
hurt feelings.
It was sad. I wasn't being a very good friend. So this year I told her the whole time I'm not coming. I'm like, I'm just going to tell you real. I'm not coming.
I don't want no hurt feelings, because here's the truth.
Yep. And then, so kind of a couple days before the party, Scott's like, you need to go. You really need to go. And so, and she had also invited one of, my best friend, Stephanie. Have become friends. And so I was like, okay, we're going to go. So it was a prom party, and I wait till the last minute, couldn't find a dress. And so we're like, you know what? I have a sewing machine, and I think I can make some dresses. And as we made them, I was like hot sewing. I was like, I am actually blown away by how beautiful these dresses are. Okay, I'm blown away.
Did you go to like Joann's Fabrics and found like
some beautiful purple fabric.
Okay,
some tulle.
What do you do? Follow up when you do stuff like that?
Well,
do you follow something?
I think you should.
You just were winging it?
We were winging it. And I could not believe how gorgeous these dresses were. And we put them on. We were looking good. We went to
did you measure yourselves? I don't understand how you could just buy fabric, cut it up, and then sew it without any sort of pattern.
We just kind of wrapped it around ourselves a little bit to know about how much fabric we needed. And it ended up working out. It was going to be so great. Sewed them up. I was honestly, I was blown. I was like,
You're
well,
like,
I
wow,
guess,
maybe
I
this is what
guess
I'm
I
meant to
could.
do.
Maybe this is what I meant to do.
You're
I
the next
could,
Vera Wang.
I could make fantastic dresses. Just, I was like, I don't know why this is so hard. Well, then fast forward and I see pictures of the night. That confidence I have
Plummeted.
It's like the picture when I think I look hot and it's like, actually no. I was like, I thought these dresses were fantastic. They didn't even close all the way. I mean, oh, have mercy.
It looked like you're just wearing like cut out rags.
It looks like I took some curtains out of a little girl's room and wrapped it around my waist. Okay, that's what it looked like. But I'll tell you,
what did the top look like?
well, I just had like a black dress on underneath because I didn't have. I was trying to, but we ran out of time.
So it was the beauty of the lower half.
It was the beauty of the lower
It
half.
looked like you were wrapped in a child's drapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Feeling really hot the whole
I
time
felt
you were there.
so good. I was like, watch out, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we get there and there are some stunning, and then I find out, I always thought Shein app was like the Wish app, is like everything's.
Shein app? I don't know anything.
Well, there's this Shein. So, my friend's wife, she was like, yeah, I just got, it was all sparkly gold. And I was like, where'd you, she's like, Shein. And I was like,
what does that mean? Is that a store
it's
app?
like an app. It's like a China app.
clothes?
I don't know. I just always thought Shein was like the Wish app. It would come up and there'd be like some weird inappropriate ad that you're like, wait, what is that? Or like also some like great buy. And you're like, yes, I want that outfit. It's like when people be like, this is what I ordered and then this is what I got.
Isn't that like when your like mother-in-law Terry is like on that one website that's like a total like Chinese scam?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you get nothing. I was like, well, yeah, you can't buy anything off there. That's what I thought Shein was. Apparently it's not. Apparently it takes a little bit of time to get, a couple weeks.
These are dresses. You can get full dresses
I
there?
think you can get, she bought Craig a paisley gold. It was fantastic.
Okay.
I was so impressed. And
Yeah.
I guess it's inexpensive. So I just texted her today and I was like, is it a website or an app? She's like, it's an app. I was like, good. So I downloaded it.
Okay.
I'm going to do some shopping. I don't know what I'm going to get.
Okay.
But yeah, so everybody was looking fantastic and here I roll up looking like I came
How
out
did
of
Steph look?
also
like she was in curtains?
Listen, yes, but there's something about her. She has this like beauty, like she had her hair all done hot. There's something elegant about her. And so it didn't even look bad. I can't wait. We're recording. I'm going to have to show you the pictures that Whitney sent me. I was like, well, you know what? I did what I did and I won't take it back.
It's kind of like how you don't wear any makeup and then you decided to color your eyebrows in and you look like Charlie Chaplin.
Legit. And if I would have had time.
You went to a dinner party.
I went to a dinner party. Didn't tell anybody I was doing it. And
no,
actually,
you FaceTimed me.
Well, I told you, but you weren't going to this party. That was the same. It was the murder mystery.
Me and you were like, honest, you were dead serious. Like you were not making fun of it. You were earnestly. You go.
I was trying.
You were like, tell me the truth.
I was doing my best.
Yeah, you were like, tell me the truth, because I legit thought you were being funny. Like you were like, hey, look at me. And then I could see that your demeanor was serious, and you were like, tell me the truth, Anna. Does this work? And I was gentle with you. I was like, okay, listen. It's a lot of eyebrows, okay? So
my husband, the whole night, he came up to stairs to get me to see if I was ready because the sitter had just got there, and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, listen, I don't go get my hair done, my eyebrows done, nothing. And I was like in the era of pencil thin, hot eyebrows in the early 2000s, and they just haven't grown back great.
Yeah.
I also had a scar from a trampoline accident as a child where I had stitches. And so if I'm not careful, there's one hair. And if I pluck that hair by mistake,
you're bald.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And so I was like, shiitake mushrooms. I need to fix this. And I don't have makeup, but I did have an eyeliner pencil from something I found. And all night at that party, Scott would just walk by me and he'd be like, hey, eyebrows.
It looked like you had cut out of construction paper,
Yeah.
black eyebrows,
And I just glued them on.
onto your eyebrows.
I might as well have.
Okay.
I just
Well, and I
have.
tried to encourage you because I was like, I think you just need facial balance. Like, I think you need to now wear eyeliner and mascara.
Yeah.
And you're like, I can't be bothered.
I just can't do it. I can't do makeup. I don't know how to apply it. I feel fine without it.
Yeah.
I don't want the whole rigmarole of washing my
Right.
face before bed, like
Right.
all the stuff that comes with it. And so, and people who see me often because I never wear makeup, then it's like, but I walked into that party and I didn't say nothing about it. I acted like I almost kind of forgot about it for a while.
Because you were like, well, a lot of people don't know me and they'll just think that this is what I look like.
Yeah. That wasn't the case.
No, they were.
Yeah, that wasn't the case. That was nuts.
Everybody just, the music stopped. It was
oh my
like a
God.
record screeched when you walked in
Yeah.
with those eyebrows.
The only thing, then one person was like, because it was a murder mystery party, and like they would ask you like to come in costume for your character, and like mine and my husband's, we were like these band members. So we had like a tambourine and like a Scott bought like little finger, like, those little belly dancers.
yeah,
Oh my God, it was
yeah.
great. But one gal was like, oh, I just thought that was part of your costume. Whoops.
That's
Whoopsie.
you. That's you trying to be beautiful.
That's
and
me.
Someone thought it was a part of your
And
costume.
somebody thought it was a joke. They're like, this is part. I was like, yeah, well,
Okay.
I don't remember asking you.
Yeah. Like, wow. Okay. No, this is me.
Again, I felt hot.
This is me.
I wasn't even. I was like, well,
You were.
I was a mess. It was, I'd do it again. Maybe
don't
the
know
more
why.
I do, I don't know why. I don't know why.
You have to balance it out with eyeliner. You have to
Yeah.
balance out your face. I know you're so beautiful without makeup, and with that Saudi Arabian blood pouring through you, you don't
Yeah.
even need mascara because you got black eyelashes.
Yeah.
But I do think a little. If you had your face done,
Sure, it wouldn't look as so.
No,
so,
I start with my eyebrows, and if my kids walk in that's all I've accomplished, they're like, "Whoa, hey ma, whoa!" I always get like a whoa.
oh, what's happening here?
Yeah.
But that's it. So Stephanie, her makeup is beautiful. She's stunning anyway. And so and she had this like hot top on that was all lacy. It was good. And so it was, I was like her sister that was, I can't. It was not good. I had to blast.
your sister that.
Like she's, you know what I'm saying. We can't even say it, but it just was like she was throwing me a bone. Okay,
Yeah, the sister that's a little lonely.
Yeah, still in high school at 21, like that. It was
Having
sad.
a hard time passing those community college classes.
Yeah, so it didn't look good. But so we go to the party. I see my friend Craig, who. A little backstory. I am close. I know you can. You haven't even seen the picture yet. I can't wait. I'm gonna put it. I'll put it down in the comments so you guys can all look at it too.
You thought you were going to be the next Vera Wang.
I did. I was like, I don't know what's so wrong. What's so hard about this? Sewing at my kitchen table. Working with tulle. I was like, tulle's a little hard to sew with, but it's okay. I got this.
Yeah, you got it. You were confident.
I put it on. I was like, I looked at Scott and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually beautiful. I really felt so good. Do you do that? Do you feel anyway?
That's the thing I love about you though is that like
I have confidence I don't deserve.
You're so confident and you're so positive that it's like I feel like this is maybe I should be Vera Wang. Maybe I need to tell Anna that we can't even do the podcast because I have to go a different direction. And then the pictures.
I was like I got on. I was like, where do I get one of those mannequins that I can like measure? I was like, You're
like, I didn't even try.
I didn't even try.
Imagine
if I actually gave myself some time.
Yeah. Got a pattern maybe.
I think the whole time too, Stephanie was like, I think you're a little more excited about than I was like, no, this is gorgeous. Okay. But I think the other thing is like, however terrible it is, because I have that confidence that I don't deserve, right? Nobody even thinks twice about it.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh my gosh, great. Oh, it was.
Yeah, we get whipped up and
you get ripped up, whipped
your
up in
fever
it.
dream.
Yeah. So anyway, I had Mackenzie. It was just me and her, and then we moved to Lincoln. And I'm really
wait. We're going way back.
well. I'm trying to give you a little feedback of who Craig is because I want to share this with you.
Okay, so now she's gone to this party. Craig is there.
Craig is there.
Now you're going back in time to
So
explain
I'm going to
relationship.
explain a little bit of a relationship about this guy and me. So I am best friends with Kyle, who and then I just become close with his family. Craig is his brother. Whitney is his sister. Like I'm just close with that family. Craig and I become close. We live close together. He was around, and we had fun. We would go out, be ridiculous, have such a good fun time. And then he reminded me, because I have now shared our podcast and our video on Facebook, and he was like, full circle, we had big plans and we were going to call it the Penny Rowe Show. And my last name at the time was Rowe. His was Penio. And we had plans to start a podcast. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
15 some years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then it all
did he have? Was he a little hurt that you'd moved on with one, or is he moved on with his life?
Well, he's moved on with his life.
Yeah.
I mean, but he teased, and I said, "Well, I'll have you. Oh, come on." He's like, "Oh, I'm not a star." I was like, we're fun." But I forgot all about that, and then I had my grandma got sick literally like the night that we had like named it, and then we all just went a different kind of. I completely forgot about it. That I had dreams of doing this. And so now here I am.
Oh, look.
Doing this. So, that's funny about the calling. But no, I haven't really had, I don't feel like I ever had a calling, but I do know how I feel when I do something that is unexpected.
Well, so this sort of leads us into this because we talked before how you kind of came alongside me with my book tour, and now you're kind of we decided hype woman. Really
I didn't like it. It made me think of Flavor Flav. I'm like, I'm not.
You usually introduce me. You usually end it. You give people instructions. You're the person who takes care of the details. So you show up. You make sure that I have a mic or a mic stand. You make sure that everything looks good.
Yeah.
You take care of the show, but then you're also a big part of the personality. While we're signing books, you're there. We're cracking jokes.
It's just
you're
fun.
working the audience, right? So you're more than an assistant. You're more than I don't know what to call you.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried.
But so one of the first times I had you introduce me, I go, "Do you want to introduce me?" Because I think the woman there was another woman who wanted to introduce me, and I go, "Well, go ahead, go do it." So you go up on stage.
Well, no, what happened is I assumed she was going to introduce you. And then they asked me, and I wanted to say no. I was like, absolutely not. But how can you say no? I mean,
right.
You can't. You have to just do it.
And we were running out of time. The show was about to start. It's not like this was a day before either. Like we were literally at the stage. And she's like, "Well, do you want to go?" So Amber goes up there, and I'm certain you forgot. I forgot I was even supposed to be the speaker.
I forgot that I wasn't the star. I got that mic, and when I got on stage, something happened to me.
It was electric. It's like it shot through your whole body.
Which is so weird because I remember like taking speech in college, and it was, I would feel sick for weeks upon knowing what day I had to go up and give my talk. Like, I don't know what happened, but I was like, I was made for the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know why or what. And then Anna's like, "Hi, I think I'm the one they paid for." I was like, "Oh, oops, sorry." And here's Anna.
Yeah. And then after we got done, you came up to me and you said, I have to tell you, that felt so right.
Yeah.
It felt so right. It felt like
That's what I was supposed to be
I'm
doing.
supposed to be doing. But then we're like, well, like more specifically, what do you mean by that? Like, do you want to be the main speaker? Do you like introducing? Do you like, because you don't have like an ego when it comes to, well, I've got to be the star. You can forget it. Like, I'm not going to be the introducer.
I think what I like is and what feels good is just, I like to make people laugh. That felt really good. People were laughing. I mean, I was like, yes. My sister and I always argue about who's funnier. My sister is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think just having fun, like, honestly, I just like having fun.
Yeah.
And part of that is, doing that. Part of that is doing this, thinking back 15 years, when we were talking about the Penny Rowe show, like we just had fun, and we wanted to, like, who doesn't want to listen
Share
to
the fun.
us? Who doesn't want to have fun with us? And so I think that really is just however I make that work. But there was something in me that felt, and because too, we were at a church, right, for that one, it just felt good. I just,
like, this is something I want to pursue.
Yeah.
So then the same thing happened where I needed her to I had her help me with some going live and sharing stories. And you were just like, you're like, when are we getting together to do another live?
I was eating it up. And then what would happen is then, like, friends of mine or like loose friends of mine that, like, I hadn't talked to in years would, like, message me. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys are so fun. And I was like, well, I think we are, but, like, you love. So I think just having fun. I think my calling is to have fun and make people feel good. I like to make people feel good.
You do. And I think that that's a part of your personality is you have a very outgoing, very loving, very positive.
Don't forget about that confidence.
Confidence for days. And people are very drawn to you. They feel very safe with you. They feel very loved by you. And so I think that you like to serve people through that type of very positive and inclusive.
Yeah.
And I think that people generally really love you. So we have found that, like, when we go speaking together, that people love you just as much as me. And they are thankful for you just as much as me, especially with the way you'll do, like, at the end of a lot of shows, Amber will do fun activity with everybody to get a giveaway. I'll give away my books to some people in the audience, and she does the, like, what's in your purse, and it's totally hysterical, and everybody loves you. So this is why it's really funny, because when we went to Dyersville, I've been interacting with the Chamber of Commerce there, and there was a contact who I'd been talking to who's been nothing but very personable, very funny, kind woman. And Amber, we had asked her a few times about what the setup is going to be like, because we were really struggling to understand it, because the venue was like half gym, half museum, half gigantic room. You know what I mean? And we were like, wait, what is this?
And a gym. There was a gym in there.
It was a gym. And they're like, where are we? What is this place? And it's going to house 300 plus to 400 women. Excuse me. So it was like, we weren't sure how to visualize it. Yeah. Am I on stage? Am I with the audience? And so she was kind of explaining it, but we still couldn't quite get it. And so we were there. We arrived pretty early at the hotel. So I told Amber to go and, why don't you go ahead of me and check it out, see where my table is, see what the stage is like, and so that we can get a good feel of what this is going to be. So Amber goes, and this is women's night, right? So she gets on this, like, black dress that you bought, okay?
Well, I had the black dress.
Then you had had some, like, blush colored power, like, beautiful sexy pumps.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You had those on. Now your cleavage was slamming, so we had to find some.
Oh my gosh! I tell you, I can't even with that. It's like I want it fully covered. I don't like any of it.
So what happened? You forgot the bra that went with it, or what was going on there?
Yes, I forgot as I was packed, because I was like a late packer to go. I forgot the bra that I needed for that dress specifically, and so I had to use what I had, and it was it was not great. So
So you had cleavage for days. So then we had like a little bobby pin situation. You were bobby pinning yourself up.
Safety. Yeah. Yeah.
Safety pinning.
Yeah.
Not a bobby pin.
Yeah.
And so you go ahead of me.
I go ahead and I get in there and I'm asked for Carla, the gal who was there first, because when you walk in you have to give your tickets to get in, because there was like VIP that got to go in first, and then and because there was a bunch of booths and vendors and other things happening there, and then so I was like I'm here with I'm Amber, I'm here with Anna, I just wanted to come in, chat with Carla, kind of check out where things were ahead of time. And her name was Megan. She was very sweet. She's like, oh, Carla's over here. She took me over to Carla, and I was like, hi. I was like, I was just coming a little bit ahead to kind of see where the table, like what the setup was like, where the stage is. She was a tall drink of
water, wasn't she?
She was very tall.
How tall do you think she was?
Well, I don't know, but she also had like wedges on that made her like even taller. And she she looked at me and she was like, well, the table's right here. And she pointed to it. And then she's like, and the stage is right there.
Right.
And then looked at me like as if, duh. Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. This is what I'm used. And I think part of it, well, one, I expect her to treat me like I am.
Well, here's, okay. So Amber comes back and she's hot. Okay.
And I usually
hot.
don't get.
And a part of me thought that if she wanted to, she could have cried. Like if she really sat with it.
I don't think I would have cried. I was so upset about how I do not like people to be condescending.
That she was being condescending.
Yeah.
Now, I'm shocked by this because
she's like, it's not that I don't believe you.
But every interaction I've had with her, she's
the
the sweetest, loveliest, kindest woman ever.
She's like, are you sure you didn't misread? And I was like, no.
You're like, I'm a judge, a character.
I
did not misread this.
I didn't misread it.
This is, yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I support you and I love you. I don't know why. All I can think of is that this huge event they've been planning all year.
And she's stressed.
And she's busy. She had explained it to us 3 times already. And she's like, good God, how many more times can I explain this to you?
Here's the reason, is because I needed you to walk to the stage with me so that we could see that there was a mic stand. Because as an author who's reading, you can't really be holding a mic. I mean, there's things behind it.
Yeah. No, Amber is there with a purpose. She's trying to, this is what Amber catches, because she's like, Anna's going to need green M&Ms in the green room.
Right. Yeah, right. Like there's like a whole thing.
Yeah, she's like,
there are things,
that
details,
I need that not every place has or is thinking about.
So I come back, I'm angry.
So she's angry, and I'm like, okay, it's not that I don't believe you, but she's actually like so kind and so sweet. I'm having a hard time believing that this is hard for me to even wrap my brain around that she'd be condescending to you. Okay. So then I go. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. I'm going to go early, because I was going to show up like 15 minutes before. I was like, I'm going to go early. Let's get our books out.
Yep.
And let's go see what's up.
Yeah.
So we show up, and everybody, like when they recognize me,
I go to the table.
Yeah, she's
book
still
set
upset.
Up. I'm still annoyed.
She says that she wouldn't have cried. I'm telling you that lip was trembling. Anyway, okay. It was a mad cry.
Yeah,
it was a mad cry with your husband's home.
Yeah.
Did we know he was coming home?
Well, he knows we're doing this. I love it when
he comes home. I love Scott. Okay,
yeah, me too.
So she's got this angry, trembly lip that she's denying. And then she's setting the books up. She's setting the books up mad. Like, Amber has lost her complete and total essence. She's mad. She's stacking the books up mad.
I can't believe it.
She's angry. And they recognize me when I come in, so everybody is just like hugging me and saying hello. We're so excited for you to be here. They're so lovely. And then I go, where's Carla? They go, Carla's right there. And so I go up to Carla, and she's like, oh my gosh, Anna, you're here. She gives me a huge hug. She takes me. She shows me the table and the stage. And I go, well, thank you. She goes, you're here early. I was like, well, I just wanted to see what was going on. I'll go ahead and get everything set up here. And she goes, okay, just let me know if you need anything. And so I look at Amber, and I'm like,
She says, I don't know. She's lovely. And then the night goes on. She does then, after I'm leaving the stage at the end of the night, she was like, that was great. Thank you. Because we'd done some giveaways. And,
she
and
thought
stuff.
Amber did a fantastic job.
And then, towards the end, she came back over the table. Then I'm more engaging or whatever. We get in the car, and he was like, you know what I wonder? I wonder if maybe you were upset because did you think you were the star? And I was like, first of all, yes. And second of all,
how
dare you even tell me? I just have gotten so accustomed to, like, in Alabama, I mean, they were just...
People treat you like a star as well, and you feel like one.
Yes.
I think you kind of think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, it's like the Amber and Anna show.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't even, like...
Right.
Obviously.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the case at all. And I don't even need it to be. I don't even, but yeah, I think
people
it was.
Love you so much that you're getting so much love. And I'm kind of like, I still have a mystique to me, which I don't mean to have, but I do. And
I think that's with anyone though that has fame, right? There is a level of mystique.
I don't know if fame is the word that I have, but I will say that, like, I also have a level of mystique because I need to prepare. Like, I can't be working a room beforehand. Like, I'm preparing. I'm mentally preparing for what I'm about to speak. If we're at a church, I usually pray beforehand. I usually pray beforehand anyway because I want everybody to have an incredible time and for God to use me to bring joy and laughter.
Yeah.
And so I'm not as with everybody as you are. I mean, you're with them and having a great time. But I looked at Amber and I go, Amber, they were so delightful that I'm starting to wonder if she didn't treat you like the star. And that's why you're hurt.
Yeah. I honestly didn't even realize it. But then, yeah. She could care less I was there.
She didn't care.
I will, however, still stand by she was condescending as far as, well, the table's here and the stage is there. Like, there was a bit of that, but I think I took it so much more personal because red carpet me to the stage then.
Yeah, I'm gonna defend her in the sense that I don't think she intended to be condescending, other than to say I have nothing more to show you.
Yeah,
than here's this and here's the stage.
Yeah, agree.
But that really cracks me up because I do think you do have this inner. But I want that to flourish inside of you and I want you to tap into that. But what I love about this is because a lot of people don't know what their calling is, or they don't even, and I always want to, whenever I talk about callings and chasing your dreams, 100 years ago, people weren't chasing their freaking dreams. Okay. They were trying to survive. They were making a living. They were doing it. To me, I don't think we all have this grandiose calling to have a podcast. I think we have.
We don't, but when we do something,
we have
and
talents.
It feels good.
Yeah.
I think that is that breadcrumb that you talk about.
Right.
Like, this is why it feels good.
Follow that breadcrumb because it's tapping into that gift you have to serve others.
Yeah.
And it feels good because there's something about it that you need to investigate further. I'll say this about callings, though. They're hard. They're hard. You're going to have ups and downs. I have this story called Chutes and Ladders that I read sometimes, especially at my church events.
You did that on your Substack too, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think I read that. That was good. That was good.
Where life really is a game of chutes and ladders.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you are playing, you're winning, you're climbing ladders, and then you hit a chute. And sometimes you're almost there to your goal and you hit a chute all the way down.
Yeah.
And that has happened to me in my career countless times.
Mm-hmm.
And each time you start to think to yourself, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And then, so sometimes too, people are like, well, how do I know when to quit? And then sometimes the response is, well, if you quit, will you feel relief? But I don't like that meter because we all feel relief when the pressure's lifted.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I
think it's the mixture of that relief and then also not thinking about it all the time.
Right. So I know that like if I were to quit, if I were to be like, you know what, I just want to be a housewife. There are so many times, Amber, when I'm like making dinner and I'm cleaning the house, I look at Rob and I'm like, sometimes I just want to do this. I just want to keep house. I want to take care of our children. I want to pick them up from school. I want to do my spring shopping with them. I want to keep the home. I want to do dinner. Sometimes this is all I want to do. It feels good. It feels nourishing. I have purpose with my children. But I know that is my purpose. That is my purpose, being a mother.
Right. Yeah.
But I also know that I have this other calling, this gift to serve people. And if I were to quit, it would be eventually devastating. And I think that that's how you sort of know also that it is something that you need to pursue. Now, I'm trying to think of like what a good parallel for that would be for you. But I think that if you were to take away those outlets that you have to express yourself and to love people and to serve people, the way you are involved in your community, and to isolate you, sometimes you're like, God, clear my calendar. I just want to do nothing, right? Yeah. But eventually, that part of you that needs to love people and support people would be devastated. You'd be like, I have to do this thing. And our calling, too, can shoot in different directions. So if I'm supposed to follow what I feel like that was that God prompt of, I want you to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean quit being a writer. It's like, I don't know yet if it means the writing will, or the speaking will lead to the writing career. The writing career has already started, but it's like, I don't know if they're supposed to complement each other, if one is supposed to lead to the other. But sometimes it's just, you have to discipline yourself and do stuff like that too as a part of your calling. I mean, because your calling is not going to be, it's going to feel right, but it's also going to be hard. It's going to require discipline, and you can screw it up. You really can. Like, some people think like there's nothing you can do to get in the way of your calling. That's not true. People are dying with regrets every day. Right? I mean, you can really screw it up and just blow it away, blow these opportunities away by saying no to them, by not trying them. Yeah. And so that's why when you were like, you and I would just be driving to one of our events and we'd just be having this hysterical conversations, and you'd be like, because I had the It's Not That Serious podcast that I was doing by myself, which is very hard. Yeah. And I was not enjoying it. I have to say, I was enjoying it in the sense that I knew that I had some diehard fans of it who were really getting a lot out of it, but it was so hard for me. And you were like, I think we need to do this together. And we did it. We took the stages. We're sitting here now. We're doing it. Yeah. Try it. See how it feels. Don't put an expectation on it, because if you're like, well, this is my calling, it's going to
just try all the things. Even if it doesn't seem like, if somebody wants you to introduce them on stage, just say yes. Don't say no. And then you're like, am I going to start going to stand-up night? See, that's the guy, because you have no idea. And I think, and you've said this about your writing when your first book came out, We'll Laugh About This Someday. You said, I just want to be the reason that people laugh and feel good. And that, I mean, I'm not a writer, but I also want that. I want to make people feel good, and I want to, and when I make people laugh, I will reuse a joke far too long because I'm like, this got some laughs. I'm gonna keep it up. It just feels good. It feels good to laugh, and so we would talk. I'm like, gosh, we're funny. Now I think that's true. While before, I tried the dress. I thought I was going to be a dressmaker.
I know. That's why I was laughing too. I was like, because what if she's overconfident about my skills? Because Amber's been like, oh, you're going to be a star. You're going to be so famous. It's going to be ridiculous. And then she was actually like seriously talking about what happens. Because Scott even brought this up. He's like, well, what happens when Anna does get really famous? What's going to happen with you? Like, you're going to be traveling with her? Do we need to get a nanny? I mean, we were like seriously talking about things as if I was about to be, Beyonce.
This is what Scott says. He goes, at no fault of Anna's, but they're going to want to hire like an actual professional. So just be ready for that. Okay.
Get ready for the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was laughing, because when you were like, I'm overly confident, I have no business, I was like, oh man, she has fluffed me up so many times.
Well, here's the difference though. Because of your already established audience and feedback, you're getting feedback from other people that are going to,
not just
you have a book deal, you have an agent, like there's more to it. It's not just me.
Yeah.
If you didn't have those other things, I might be worried.
Yeah, like, oh man, she's really going for it. I don't know if I know what I'm talking
she's
about.
Like, actually, oh my gosh, that dress, I'm going to pull it out. Well, I had to put it in the garage because Steph and John live out in the country and they've got a lot of trees and it's like tick season. I have trauma about ticks from a child. I remember we lived in the country and I remember my mom would just take a cigarette and use it to burn the tick off the dog. Never got on the dog.
Yeah.
But it was just that old, and so I remember that. I heard about Lyme disease once, and I've just,
I know, it's scary.
I can't. And it's like when you feel, it's like lice. If somebody mentions it, now my whole body's itching.
Right.
And they came into town. We went out to, whatever. And yesterday I was like laying on the floor playing Legos with Beckett. And I was like, oh, do I have like a little pimple or something in the back of my head? And I was like, oh, it's weird. Kind of. No. And later in the day, it was over here and I picked it out and it was a tick. And I text Stephanie and I was like, oh my God.
Burn your house down, Stephanie.
I was like, Scott was gone and Hudson had a friend over from church. I couldn't ask him. I was like, Beckett, will you come over here and look through my hair, please? He was like, no, I'm building monkeys with my Legos.
Yeah.
I was like, so I made Whitney this morning when she stopped by. I was like, please look through my hair.
Yeah.
Please. Like oh my gosh, I can't. But anyway, I can't wait to show you the dress and the pictures.
Yeah, I definitely need to see that. We'll post some too, because I think that is incredible.
It's incredible
to see this total disaster.
Yeah.
I think that the point is, I do think though that like for some women, they want to be home. They want to be home. They want to manage their home. It's hard to manage a home. It's hard to manage the finances, the home, the grocery, the budget. And there's such a level of purpose and commitment that needs to be whatever you feel. And sometimes we go through seasons where that's exactly where we need to be.
Yeah.
When my girls were in their infancy, I knew I needed to keep my career up, meaning I needed to keep writing.
Yeah.
But I know I didn't feel compelled like I need success now, because if success hit me, I ain't going to travel with an infant. I ain't going to be, it needed to come at the right time.
But also, what success is for one person is not for the other.
Right.
And success doesn't mean money, fame, you're crawling up the ladder at your company,
right.
All your kids are now doctors. Like, success is so different for everybody. Like, it could be, I just kept my plant alive. I feel success.
The way that like this Instagram, Facebook culture is that we've almost made young people, all of them, think that their purpose is to be famous and to be YouTube stars.
That's sad. And then it ends up making people feel bad about themselves because they can't. And don't feel bad. Those are filters. That's all the best.
They're all
stuff.
Messed up. They're all of them have actual mental health issues.
We could have a whole episode about this.
Listen, don't get me started on Dave Hollis dying and then Rachel Hollis and his other girlfriend like moving on after a month. I the whole thing. And my point is that it's like, especially his girlfriend Heidi Powell. I'm not going to speak ill of her by any means. I don't follow her very much at all, but she came back after a month of Dave Hollis dying. He was Rachel Hollis's. Rachel Hollis and I had the same editor, actually. I don't know Rachel at all. Her ex-husband died. He was dating Heidi Powell. She was one of those extreme makeover people, and now she's kind of an influencer. And she came back after a month to talk about what she's learning in the wake of his death. And I just felt that a month was way too soon. And without any judgment towards her, when you build a career around the internet, as like an influencer, or if that's how if your personality is what makes you money and you now have to support that lifestyle, what this toxic environment does is it makes people who are in the midst of grief, the midst of divorce, in the midst of their depression, in the midst of whatever they're going through, have to put on makeup, put on lighting, show up and tell everyone, these are the things I learned after the love of my life just died. She's almost a victim of it. Like, I can tell that, because if that's how she makes her income, then she's like, a month is too long for me to be gone. I have to get back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
For me, I never, ever, ever, I have felt that way before, and it's hell. I'm like, I haven't posted in a week. I'm going to lose all my fans, and everything that I've worked for is going to turn to dust. Now that I have kids, and I've really grown and matured more in my faith, I've realized that, like, if God tells me tomorrow, I want you to serve me in a different way and shut this whole operation down, I know that I will be just as happy. Believe it or I don't even like the attention part of it. It's too much pressure. I wish that I could just like write. Sometimes I wish that I could write and have like a fake name, but I still want to make lots of money and live on a homestead. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I like to get paid.
This is true. She really doesn't like the fame that comes behind it or people knowing. We were driving to where'd we go? Iowa.
To Dyersville.
And we stopped at a gas station, and there's 2 stalls in this bath. Listen. Oh my gosh, it was so gross.
One bathroom, I don't know what was happening, but the seat was covered in toilet paper, and the toilet paper seemed wet.
So I get in there first.
She was in the other stall, and I was already late because I filled up the gas tank. So I already gave you like a 5-10 minute head start. Then I come in, you're still in there.
Yeah,
I was like, Amber, this is not your personal.
She starts
toilet.
making jokes about the wet, moist toilet paper on the seat. She's like, I don't even know what was happening in here. What was this about? We can get that the toilet paper was there maybe if there wasn't a seat cover, but then now it's all moist and wet. Doesn't make sense.
Put it in the toilet, you animal. Who covers a toilet seat with that much toilet paper, I don't know, sprays all over it and then walks away? Like, what kind of unraised...
And in a woman, I could expect that in a men's bathroom maybe, not in a women's.
Animals.
And I think we're laughing about this together because I'm still sitting in the stall, and then there's another woman starts laughing. I died. I didn't even know there was someone else in there.
There was another woman. I actually wasn't talking to Amber. I was talking to the other woman.
I had no clue.
Because she came in, and I was signaling to her, this stall looks open, but I wouldn't go in there. You wouldn't pay me to get near this seat. I don't know what's happening with this. And so I'm communicating this to her. Amber doesn't even know she's in the room. So you hear this other woman laugh, and then I don't know what. Oh, and then Anna, you're teasing me about acting like that stall was my home. I'm like,
laughing.
This is not your personal bathroom. Get up. It's going to be warm. I knew
will be warm.
That I was going to have to pee after you, and it was going to be warm. And it was like,
I was laughing.
Off.
I was laughing so hard because it was hilarious. Because now I'm embarrassed that I've been sitting too long on a toilet in a gas station bathroom. And there's other people around. I'm crying. I get out. I can't stop laughing. The woman was so wonderful and hilarious. Thank God. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Anna, you got to go sign a book. So she signs her book.
No, I'm going to the bathroom. You can hear me peeing. And Amber goes, she's a famous book author. To this woman. She goes, really? You can hear me peeing. I probably had one of those pee toots. You know when you pee?
Those are the worst.
Yeah, like pee. Poop. You know, I probably have one of those pee toots, okay?
Yeah.
And you're telling her that I'm a famous book author and that, you know.
Well, because she was talking, she's like, you guys look like you have a lot of fun. And I didn't want her to think we're all messed up on something. We just are high on life laughing. Yeah.
That's how we are all the time.
All the time. And so she was just like, oh, you guys are looking like you're having a lot of, I was like, listen, she's a humor writer. She's got a couple books. And I was like, Anna, we got to get her a book. And Anna's walking out she's like, I'm giving her a book in the gas station. That's weird. And I was like, go sign a book and I will give it to her. And then we leave and she's like, I don't like that famousy, everybody. And I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry.
I'm not into you would probably just wear fame like a superstar.
I don't, I think,
Maybe
I
not.
don't know.
I think you're better at hyping other people up, maybe.
And I like talking to people, but I like it to be like organic, like where it would be hard then, I think.
I want to be approachable to people. I don't want to seem untouchable, but at the same time, it's awkward for me, for sure. Or if I get recognized, it's really awkward for me. Or I get recognized at the grocery store a lot, but then sometimes I get people don't think I'm somebody else. Because this is what happens. Like, they recognize me, but they don't know how they recognize me.
Yeah.
So one thing I get a lot is like, "Are you I Mom So Hard?" I get that all the time. I don't look anything like those girls.
No, but
it's because they're from Nebraska.
They're from Nebraska. They're funny, and
so they see me and they're like, "Wait, are you I Mom So Hard?" I get that every once in a while. I'm like, "No, I'm a humor writer though," and blah blah blah. But yeah, Amber embarrasses me real bad when we're out and about, but it's all good fun.
It's good fun.
Well, I think that when it comes to, sometimes I think I was blessed to have a calling when I was a child to pursue, but it's a windy road. It can change, it can evolve, but I do believe with my whole heart, we all have some sort of gift that we are to serve people with, whether it's a gift in our personality, it's a gift in our talent that we are to serve people with. And sometimes we aren't quite sure what that is. And I think the best way to figure that out is to say yes, to try new things, get involved, start serving your community.
Yeah.
And you're going to realize that, like, man, I'm better at, I'm really good at painting, walls, or I'm really good at DIY, or I have this. And then you start to realize that you can really help people. You help your church make beautiful signs. And there's certain things, and then it starts to light you up. Yeah. And it's going to be hard and it's going to require discipline.
Yeah.
But I actually think, and I'm going to kind of press everybody on this, that we have an obligation with our gifts to have mastery over it and to have discipline over it and to not waste it, to be good stewards of our gift.
Yep.
If you have a gift and you're just relying on that gift without cultivating it, mastering it, practicing, you're not being a good steward of it. I think we all have an obligation to master and have a mastery over the precious gifts we've been given to serve other people.
Yeah.
To be able to be used in the most expansive way possible instead of taking them for granted. Because I think if we take our gifts for granted and we never master it, we never have discipline, we never try, or we do try or we quit because it's hard, we sign up for things and then don't do it because we've already taken our bra off. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you've benched yourself.
Yeah.
In life, it's like sports, right? It's like you're now getting benched. Well, I was going to put you on the first base, but you're not ready, so I'm going to bench you.
I think mostly than just letting those gifts go to waste, though. I really think that we just don't know what they are yet, and so trying something new
to figure that out.
And even if it is a flop, like my dress, it's a funny story. Okay, you'll get it's.
I think all of us know more. All of us have multiple talents. I have multiple talents too. It doesn't mean I'm supposed to pursue it hardcore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think most people have a better idea than they give themselves credit for. They just might be scared of it or not believe it or something like that. But
believe in yourself.
Pray for confidence. You ain't gonna pray for Amber's confidence. God, if I could just have one tiny ounce of Amber's confidence.
Honestly, and it hasn't been my whole life. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was just I don't know. I'm not mad about it. I'll tell you that. But that's
well, we are rooting for all of you and for wherever you are, wherever you're supposed to be, whatever feels good and gives you peace. Wherever that is in your station, we're rooting for you to get to enjoy the fullest expression of it because it's a real blast, isn't it? When you get to get on stage and
you know what, guys, just do it. Just do your best.
Just do your best.
Just do your best.
Wow, full circle.
Gonna doing our best.
Do your best. And by the way, follow my Substack, will you please, Anna?
Yeah. Like us, listen,
lynthomas.substack.com.
check out our YouTube.
Watch this on YouTube.
Or listen to it.
Yes.
I told my sister, she was like, so she watched it. And she's like, the podcast you listen to while folding your laundry? No, I sat here and drank beer, smoked cigs, and watched you guys on YouTube. And I was like, well, you could listen. She's like, no, I watched.
No.
So whatever you like. If you want to watch us, if you want to listen to us.
We're everywhere. Find
Everywhere.
us.
Every Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me pee too.
Oh, see. Oh, and we got to stop this.